Okay, so I'm going to have a look at the new build on the Alpha for the Alpha talents for Dragonflight. We're going to have a look at some of the changes and go into it. And um, the reason I'm doing this is because some of the changes look absolutely fucking outstanding. They're probably the best changes I've ever seen Blizzard do in about 10 years of fucking playing WoW. So um, let's get amongst it. I'll talk about some of the interesting changes because I've seen a little bit of Dragonflight mechanics. So there's some changes that are like really weird, like some spells that replaced other spells, like Purge the Wicked, that would replace your Shadow Word Pain, don't actually replace anymore. Um, Shadow Mend is it's a big one, so it would replace your Flash Heal before, so now you actually have Flash Heal and Shadow Mend, and the change to Shadow Mend is massive because it's like a 15-second cooldown now, and you can get Depth of Shadows, which was an Azerite trait in BFA that was really powerful. So now it's going to change from like a rotational spellcasting. It's basically going to have the same function, but you're going to be doing a lot more healing from atonement in this, as I'll show you, and you'll have Palm and Renew and Strong Shields back. It's basically going back to a Legion style of Priest, but mixing in some of these more interesting elements from other expansions that they're bringing back. So, yeah, it's going to be absolutely wild just looking at these trees. Like, there's so much potential. So, one of the more interesting things that's come about is that Power Word Shield will be going back to having a cooldown and being a big shield, and some of the mechanics around that are going to be absolutely massive. So the the most ideal scenario is that you won't have to play with Power Word Radiance. This would be like the best case possible, that you can skip these for all but a few comps. So over the years, like Priest, when it's been good, has not had to play with Radiance except in a few matchups, like Shadow Priest matchups, subtlety Rogue matchups. You need Radiance still. Maybe some Dot Cleave comps, which could actually come back, but we'll talk about this a little bit. So the most ideal scenario is that you can skip these talents, but it won't be for every matchup, right? So, like, if we have a look at it, this is standard. You're not going to drop this for anything. And we have our first choice talent, and I love this choice talent. So you can have Pain Transformation, which you'll probably use against double DPS. And this new one, Protector of the Frail, which is very good. Basically, every time you Power Word Shield, 3 seconds comes off your Pain Sup cooldown. Just discussing how important Rapture is going to be in a minute. This could take like, I don't know, it could take like 30 seconds off your Pain Sup cooldown, maybe. Maybe more, I don't know. But between, if you have to PS fairly early, like in a lot of Rogue Mage matchups, if they open on you, you have to PS very early. Then you'll Rapture later, and this will take like a significant amount of cooldown off your Pain Sup. And Pain Sup's like not been that good of a cooldown traditionally compared to things like Ironbark for a Druid, which is just so much better. But this is like actually really powerful talent. But like I said, against double DPS, you might run this, which is strong, but it's not going to be as strong as it is now because it's not going to be. See, it's only 12%. At the moment, it's 33% because of the conduits you put in. So, yeah. Okay, so you're definitely going to go that. You're definitely going to go that. Now, this is interesting. The way the trees work out, it's possible that some matchups, what you're going to want to do is go this the new Blaze of Light, and potentially Mindbender. And this sounds really weird, but basically, when you have this talent, you want to smite a lot, and basically, these Solace globals that you're using, you may use for smiting. And it's the same logic with Mindbender. You may just use Mindbender instead, but Mindbender traditionally has been used in things like Hunter matchups where you don't want to be pressing Solace every 5 seconds and you can't press Solace every 5 seconds. Mindbender is comparatively like a lot weaker than the 3-minute Shadow Fiend, but it's up more often. So this is like, no one can really tell you how good this is going to be at the moment because we haven't actually played it. Like Solace is still a pretty good button. I know a lot of priests don't like pressing Solace, but it does damage. It does healing through Atonement. It gives you mana. It's a pretty good button to press a lot. And it's sort of like a marked distinction between priests, like top priests, like how many Solaces you can get off in a matchup is like a big deal. So yeah, I mean, I kind of don't really like the idea of having to play Shield Discipline with this talent. I'd rather just use this talent and Solace. But when you're bursting, there's going to be quite a lot of potential that you don't want to like press Solace on your burst windows. You may just want to have like a Mindbender, a Schism, a Penance, and then another Penance through this, or like a Light's Wrath, or like Mind Games. So it's possible that you might just want to have Shield Discipline, right? So we have to see. Basically, it's going to depend on how much you're pressing Shield. This is like a no-brainer. This is like, you can pick this or not. I think Schism into like Dot Cleaves could be very good. I think like against certain things you might want to, like even into anything, like you might even just play like Schism and Light's Wrath, like just to have that combo like up. But it's just more like you don't have that many talents to pick from at the top, so you could play this or not. The thing with Schism is it's like kind of bait because it does good damage per mana, but it is actually relatively expensive on mana. You will go if you play Schism like very quickly, so it's kind of it can be a little bit of a bait sometimes. Like you may run this. I could see you running this into like Shadow Cleaves a lot, like Shadow Priest Warlock or like Dot Cleaves. But yeah, like I said, if the Mindbender thing happens, like it could be like Mindbender, Schism, Penance, Mind Games, like on a go. But even now, when you play the game, it's like really hard to get off Mind Games. Like everyone just stops you pressing Mind Games, stop you pressing Light's Wrath. If people start getting hit with Light's Wrath again, like something that people don't know about this talent is, like back in Legion when this was a talent, I used to just love, because it's on the Radiant tree, which is neither of your healing trees, you can actually just press it, and a lot of people, even at like Gladiator and like back then, like really high rated players, because that was like before the Gladiator changes, would kick this. Like people were shit scared of this button and Mind Games. So it gives you like, say you use one of them, you can use the other one between your goes. You can like press it and like dumb shits will just interrupt it. And this is like really great because if you get interrupted on Mind Games, you can't Shadow Word Death or CC. But if you get interrupted on Light's Wrath, you can still heal, you can still do everything except for press Purge the Wicked. But because you don't actually lose Shadow Word Pain when you press Purge the Wicked, you actually can just press Shadow Word Pain and refresh your dots if you like want to do that with those globals. So yeah, Schism with that is quite good, and some of your other buttons. So it's like up to you. It also gets the benefit from this, which I may as well talk about this now. I think this will be like this is like a really hard talent to know now because this has changed, and you basically pick this, and for PvP you pick this one, Twilight Corruption, and what it does is you can penance someone, then press Shadow Covenant, and it turns your penance into Dark Penance, and this will reduce your holy spell abilities, um, but increase your shadow. So, like, this is what I'm saying. These matchups, like Shadow Priest Warlock, where you want to do a lot of atonement healing, it looks like they're like really buffing up like your potential to do shadow atonement healing, because you have this, you can turn into a dark penance, so like you could do like a schism solace combo, or like even if you just want to have shield discipline and just like mash all the shadow buttons, so you could do like a penance, a holy penance tree, and then switch your shadow covenant on, and then do shadow and then dark penance and mind games, and get like a big atonement buff out of this talent, which gives you like a lot of atonement healing. It also like lets you activate Mindbender later, so there's a lot of potential. I personally think I would probably run maybe like this Rapture. Look, you're going to get Castigation, you're going to get the improved Rapture, right? I'm glad they did this with Spirit Shell and Rapture, because I fucking hate Spirit Shell. I think it's a lame ability. Probably won't Purge the Wicked. Now, they brought back Borrowed Time. Now, this is like going to be really good at the start, I think, when low haste values are a thing. I don't know if it's going to be that good later on, though, because it only goes up to 8%. So, like, it's up to you if you want to go, like, Contrition or Revel and then this. I think I would go this route, maybe. And then, like I said, if you don't have to play Radiance, this is the most ideal scenario, because you've got, like, these points. These points, you don't have to spend them here. You can spend them elsewhere. I think this one's an interesting talent because you can, like, the reason that you play, like, you press Mind Blast actually isn't for damage anymore. It's for healing, the healing absorption part of it, because it's very poor mana to damage, but it's very high mana to healing. So this actually just gives you a little more benefit out of that. So you could play that. You could play Schism if you want. I mean, you could do that if you want to. Like, this is what I like about this tree. You can pick between a bunch of like really good talents, and it feels really good whichever ones you pick. Yeah, so let's say Light's Wrath. Now this one, when Atonement heals for a total of 200 times, your penance is free and fires 3 additional bolts. That sounds like a lot, but on the beta, I've seen this in use. See, when you put 2 talents in it, it goes to 100. This actually stacks up incredibly fast. This stacks up really fast. If you do have to play Radiance, it means like, you know, this is basically the legendary that everyone uses right now, but it's not tied to Radiance. Like, at the moment, it's like, if you want to get used to your legendary, you have to Radiance, and it's kind of lame because you want to use it for damage sometimes. But this will just, like, you can get the proc for this and just hold it, like, just before a go and, like, slam someone with a lot of damage, which I really like. This one, this is like the old Wheel and Woe. So you do a damaging spell, and then like your next heal is increased. I'm not so sure about the healing mechanic for this, because like maybe what you'll do is you'll like there's not that, like, maybe if you do need to play Radiance, you could like Shadow Mend into a Radiance, and then it'll do a big heal. But I think the benefit of this is the actual damaging side of it. So if you read this, Your damaging holy spells increase the damage of your next shadow spell cast within 6 seconds. So what you could actually do is you could penance someone on a go offensively, maybe store up one of these, ideally with a Power of the Dark Side proc, penance the living shit out of them, and then press Shadow Covenant and send a Shadow Penance. Or you could schism them, buff the schism damage, which is that schism actually does quite a lot of damage, and then you could like hit them with the Dark Penance, or you could hit them with a Mind Games. Like there's like so many like things you can actually do with this. It's like buku crazy. I'm like very bullish on this. It's like an interesting mana talent. Your Smite, Mind Blast, and Penance cast reduce the cooldown. So, like I was saying before, if you're not pressing your Powered Solace, you're pressing Smite, and like you can bring up your Shadow Fiend or Mindbender faster, which is interesting. If you're playing Trinity, your Shadow Fiends actually get 30% crit chance in threes. If you have Atonement, and Atonement's going to be really much easier to keep up with Renew now, and some of the other spells that actually apply Atonement. So yeah, it's going to be interesting with that. I think this is somewhat what I would go. You could also, this talent's also very strong. It makes your Power Word Shield like 30% stronger. Now, the interesting thing is, with this, it makes your Power Word Shield heal and reflect damage. So your Power Word Shield will heal. And this will make your Power Word Shield stronger. So when you raid Rapture, it's like a Legion Rapture, I think, which was much stronger, because what happens now is when you press Rapture and you shield someone, you're not actually healing them, you're actually just preserving their HP and absorbing damage. This will actually heal them on top of that, and it's just like a pretty overall strong combination to have. So like one of my favorite things back in the day was to go like Archangel, and you could buff your shields. So what like everyone would do, like this is like pretty standard, right? Like you would Archangel, and then you would Rapture someone, and this would like save you from having to press other cooldowns with your Rapture to like make sure you didn't die, and Rapture would just heal for shit tons. So this is like the most ideal thing in my opinion. So like you're probably going to take Shadow Mend with Depths of Shadows. That's like nearly standard. You're going to take your Dispel Magic. You're going to take Body and Soul and Angelic Feather. So you'll probably Angelic Feather yourself, and like Body and Soul your partners maybe. But we might not be pressing Powered Shield as much, so this might not be as good, but whatever. You're going to take your Leap of Faith with your Move with Grace. If you're playing a rogue team, you might play Holy Nova against everything else. You're not going to play it. Same thing with Master Spell. It's up to you if you want to use it or not. You can get the improved Master Spell too. So like this is going to be good Master Spell. So you might actually use Master Spell for more than just dispelling immunities. You might use it for dispelling people around pillars and like getting debuffs off and stuff like that, like randomly. Like good debuffs off that you can't get because you're at a loss. So this could be good. You're definitely taking Twist of Fate, PI, and Twins of the Sun Priestess. That's like no brainer. This is a legendary at the moment. It's basically going to give someone on your team Bloodlust. No doubt. This is good. Reduces physical damage taken by 5%. So this is worth like 1 million versatility basically. And this is on Flash Heal or Penance. So like I could potentially see like you may just like play with Contrition and like Penance people defensively, which is like interesting in itself as well. So like you could like play if you make this decision instead of like this one and like take a talent from somewhere else. So yeah, that could be good. What else is no brainer? You definitely want Shadow Word Death. Mind controls change now. So when you mind control someone, you can't control where their character goes. I think this was to stop all the bugs that have been happening. Um, so when you take this talent, it like puts your mind control guy like next to your character, so you can run your character to Narnia and run them to Narnia. So it's like it's whatever. It's up to you. You could try and fear them out of the mind control. Whatever. This is like an interesting talent because you're using Mind Blast a lot on to stop damage on damage dealers. Like if you're fighting a cleave, this can just like slow someone's movement speed by 75% every time you Mind Blast them, which is good. Mind Blast cooldown reduction. So there's a lot of good Mind Blast talents here. Between these, reduce damage taken by 5%. Who gives a fuck? This one here gives you a fucking freedom on fade. So, like, you can take that every time, right? So, you're going to take Void Shift every time. I've explained this. Void Shift, I mean, it really needs no explanation. You literally just, like, save someone from dying. Not a big fan of it, actually, but it's there, and if it's there, you're going to use it. You're going to play mind games 90% of the time. Now, it could... I don't know about what's going on here, but this talent I don't think is very good, but it's like... I heard it shares a cooldown with Shadow Word Death, so I don't think you'll ever play this. It sounds good on paper, like you can get like your Twister Fade up and then press this and give someone like a big heal, but I don't know if you're going to need it, like especially with Depths of Shadows. I kind of wish this was like Vitality Conduit, to be honest, because like the way Priest heals is you preemptively use a lot of cooldowns, like your barrier and like you're rapturing people. Like I don't think you really need this. It does give you Surge of Light though if you play this way. I don't know if it's worth losing Mind Games for though. Like Mind Games is such a good button. Like, and you get all the talents for it, right? Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, it's like a pretty short cooldown, 45 seconds, and it actually gets shorter every time you mind blast someone with this. Is that right? Reduce the cool. Oh, that's for Shadow. I don't know what it does for Disc. Disc isn't written there. I'd say it's probably the same as Holy, right? Like Smite and maybe Mind Blast. So maybe if you're smiting, you're bringing up your Mind Games more as well. So maybe that's more value for this talent tree option. I think this one's like clearly the worst. I used to play with this one in Cataclysm, like when warriors were like obscenely broken. Like I would play this, but it's not a good button. Like you're just pressing it because like you're in desperate need. Like this is like definitely the worst. I think this one is probably. I don't know. I'd have to try it, but I think it's pretty poor. I think it doesn't heal for very much. Like it says heals someone 400% more. And the cooldown's reduced, so like it would have a 10-second cooldown. Don't know, because you're going to have big shield. You know, you're going to have Pomon Renews going, ideally. If the damage is like actually Buku insane, you're going to be playing Radiance, right? You're going to be playing Radiance and your standard Ultimate Radiance build. You'll probably be playing with Dome. You know what I mean? Like, I don't see that being a thing. So, the other thing you can do is you can play this one, Strength of Soul. So this is what you actually played in Legion. You had Strength of Soul, right? Reduces physical damage taken by 15%. And with the healing of this, the increase of your power word shield, like you're going to be so hard to kill with this, right? This could be better, potentially. Like even if you're playing, you could play like Dome, this and this maybe, because like Renew and a bunch of other new spells like put up atonement, so maybe Trinity won't have as high a value. The other new talent is, this is pretty crazy. I have to show you this. So this talent, if an interrupt is used while you are not casting, you gain 15% haste and become immune to crowd control effects for 4 seconds. Now I don't know if that's purgeable, but that's incredible. That is so good. Like if you juke someone, and think about this, like on a priest, you can juke someone with penance, like a 1-tick penance, and then like Depths of Shadow mend yourself to full, potentially, right? Or even the other way around. I mean, you can cast a shadow mend, and if they kick you, you eat it, and then you can penance and then try and juke them and then top yourself, or you can shadow mend, fake it late, and then cast a power penance afterwards, and then cast this again. Or I think the best thing to do is to try and get locked on shadow. So you could abuse the fact that this heals for a lot. Like you could like power word shield yourself for a borrowed time proc, cast a shadow mend, get locked, cast a flash heal, right? Because I think you have flash heal, right? So you can like shadow mend, get kicked, flash heal, juke it, then penance yourself with this, and you'll have 20% haste on it, right? Because you'll have 88% here plus 15% here. Like this is just crazy. Like, do you see what I mean? Like there's so much potential in these trees, and so much has changed since like the last tree they gave us, which wasn't even that long ago. The one thing I was disappointed was this one here changed. So this was actually going to be a separate bind, and this would have actually been more OP if it was a separate bind, because you could have spelled Devouring Plague from Shadow Priests without eating a Vampiric Touch Embrace, which would have been amazing, because this kind of gets shit on by Shadow Priests. Like, it's really fucking hard to heal through Shadow Priests. Like, buku hard at the highest levels. Like, they're by far the most annoying thing to heal through, and they are going to be, like, insane next expansion. Their tree is brutally strong. So, it would have been nice if this was actually separate to this instead of buffing it, because that would have given you an opportunity to dispel their, like, nine tick Devouring Plagues. So what they do is they put up a 4 or 5 tick, and then they refresh it so it's like a 9 tick. And then what you would do is you would like dispel the disease, and you could outplay them that way. But I don't know. That's a bit of a shame, but it is what it is. I mean, you can't complain when you're getting like all this shit. Like, this is just a smorgasbord, and there's so much potential. Like, you can have the AoE build with lots of damage. You can play like a really nice anti-cleave talent. You have Void Shift here. Like, the RMP stuff is here. Like, you get the fast MDs. You get new talent trees. Oh, the other thing is Void Tendrils is back. So this talent, I don't know if it's going to be physical or not. When it was physical, this was like really OP. This can be very strong, like against Fury Warriors that are like smashing our head in at the moment. Like, you could pick that and just Void Tendrils. What I would do with this is, when the warrior like uses his ability to take away all your armor, the Colossus Smash, that's when they're going to burst, right? So what you could do is you press the Void Tendrils when they do it and just run around a pillar. You can kind of do that at the moment with Shining Force, which I'm actually not seeing here. I don't know if I'm blind, but I would really be upset if they took away Shining Force, because that was like a skilled button. Like, you could do some really OP stuff with that as disc. So I would be upset if that's gone. But like I said, with all the stuff you're getting here, like, who can complain, right? Like, this is just like an absolutely incredible set of talents. So yeah, I hope this video was useful and gave people some interest in Dragonflight. I'll be playing Wrath of Lich King, but I'll be playing this as well, because, like, take a look at this, man. Like, this is like MOP 2.0. Like, a lot of people say MOP's their favorite expansion. Well, this is like MOP 2.0 with like a bit of Cata flavoring and a bit of Legion flavoring, and like the best parts of Shadowlands are in here. I kind of wish, I don't know, like, if they could do this, but I kind of would like this to be gone, and I'd like the Fey Guardians to be in there. That's the other thing I would like to be in there. I kind of enjoy the Fey Guardians. I don't really want to like that to go, because that's like such a fun mechanic, and I think it like really suits the Discipline Priest playstyle, especially with the Rapture spam. Because what you do is you put the Fey Guardian on yourself, and then you power word shield the guy that you want to have damage reduction, and then you dot your target, and you get mana back, you get cooldown reduction on your Rapture, you've got damage reduction on the guy taking damage. Like I said, Rapture is going to be a big part of this expansion. I feel like if you had Fey Guardian, it would be really strong, maybe even too strong. I think there's like a lot of anti-warrior stuff here. You can have a lot of warriors sooking over that. Anyway, I think this is the other thing that's really this like, there's so many talents. I've about to cut this video off 3 times, and I find another talent to talk about. This one here. So this, and potentially like this, so increases the damage of Shadow of Pain and Purge the Wicked, and this one here increases it more. So this is like a lot of AoE healing. This is like a renew sort of thing, because you get like atonement healing from this. This was extremely powerful in BFA against things, especially that had pets, because what you could do is you could like throw a Shadow Word Pain, throw a Purge of Wicked on the pet, throw it on the kill target, Purge the Wicked and Shadow Word Pain, and if you got CC'd, it was nearly like having like a hot on someone, right? And like with Renew, this actually could do like really substantial like healing. Like, this could actually be like very, very broken. So that kind of sounds funny, but not taking the piss, that could be like really legitimately good. So yeah, keep an eye out for that one as well. So yeah, I'm going to cut the video here. Have a good one.